Does work. Sure, it will work. Not, I'll have to fiddle around with settings. There you are, Twitch. Contest of speed. That's not it then. Hopefully this won't take too long to upload to Twitch. Cross our fingers. Alrighty, well we got a few people watching, that's good to see. Hopefully I can find it myself. There it is there. Fantastic, so the stream's up, the chat's up, and I can hear myself, that's fantastic. I've had a few problems in the past couple of weeks where I haven't been able to hear myself, but there we go. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second round of the AM1 Championship on Contest of Speed. It's time for the Hungarian round of the championship here at the Hungaroring. 4.38 kilometers and 14 turns make up this racetrack. It's a difficult circuit to overtake on generally. Only a couple of overtaking opportunities located at turns 1 and 2 predominantly. The rest of the track is pretty much follow the leader sort of stuff. The second sector is high speed, very flowing, with a lot of medium speed corners, no real overtaking opportunities. And the third sector is rather short, only consisting of turns 12, 13 and 14. And they're really not overtaking opportunities either. So a lot of the action will most likely take place at turns 1 and 2, right at the beginning of the lap. But drivers do have to be careful throughout this entire lap. There are several places that can catch you out. One of them is here at the chicane. I have noticed in races that I have done here, it is incredibly easy to ride the curbs awkwardly and spin the car out, costing you a lot of time, particularly in the race if you do that. And also turn 5, the sweeping right-hander. We'll see if we can't find someone just to show it off. We're right on board with the Ram. That inside curb is incredibly deadly. You touch that, you're hitting that barrier on the inside. That's almost a guarantee. So drivers still have to be incredibly careful with certain parts of the racetrack. But see who will be the first driver to set a flying lap. I do believe it will be R2. He's making his way down to turn 1. There's pit exit. Drivers pulling off to the side to make sure they don't impede his lap. Coming out of turn 1, gently on the throttle. It is key that you get a good exit out of here to maximize the straight line speed heading into turn 2. Hugs the inside with that slight amount of negative camber, wants to push you away from the apex, but he doesn't allow the car to do that. Out of 3, heading towards turn 4, quite a tricky complex this. You have to try and cut as much as you can, but you can't cut too much. If you do, you invalidate your time. Out of turn 5, into the chicane of turn 6, and then immediately into 7. Third gear, coming out 4, 5th, down to 4th gear for turn 8, then into turn 9. Uses the curb on exit, then into turn 10, 7th gear, then through turn 11, a very tricky corner. It's very easy to run wide there and cop a warning and an invalidated lap time. Through turn 12, heading towards turn 13 with the awkward braking zone. That dip in the road is quite deadly, as Bodhod has crashed out at turn 5. It has claimed someone already. We'll go with Lunacy just briefly. There he is there. He has smacked the wall. And a Ram has retired from the session as well in the pit lane. What has happened here? 2 drivers out of qualifying already. But R2 sets the benchmark time with a 13.8, which gets blitzed by COS Nicholas. He does a 13.484. But he's still got a fair amount of time left in the session. Now, I was looking in the Discord earlier. They believe that SWM Al might crack into the 12s, and if COS Nicholas pace shows, it's definitely possible to crack into those times. Driver's trying to pull off to the side. R2's on an in lap. Burzy, R2's teammate, on a flying lap in the Renault. Heading through the high-speed S's in the second sector. He's going to make his way around turn number 10, gently on the throttle. Again, you can't afford to make a mistake through there. If you do, it can be quite costly. Alp does a 13.398. He takes pole position away from Nicholas. Burzy, he's making his way around the final couple of corners. finish off the lap. Rounding the final bend, what is he going to set? It's a 14.4, jumps to P6 overall. Now with this being quite a short lap, I imagine qualifying is going to be quite close between a lot of these guys, so I'm looking forward to seeing the sort of total size between first place all the way down to 20th. I don't think it'll be very big at all. SWM Beam, he'll be another driver to look out for during this race. Incredibly fast driver. We'll see what he can do. See how he sets up the lap, because with it being quite a long pitch straight, you have to get a very good exit out of here in order to really maximize the lap. Down the pitch straight, 7th gear, he'll creep up into 8. Oh, he's not even using DRS. What is going on here with Bean? He's not pushing at all on this lap. He's doing another out lap, I guess, doing 2. I'm not sure what he's up to. Quinto Peto's on an out lap. He's making his way around the 2nd sector, heading towards the 3rd. Lopez has retired from the session. He's retired in the pit lane. So what has happened here? I wonder. No idea, but retiring in the pits like that, so early on in the session as well, it's a bit obscure. He's done that time on a set of mediums. Now the strategy around here is a bit of an interesting one. The way to go for the most part is to do a one-stop strategy from mediums to hards. Though you can try and pull off a two-stop strategy, it can work. I have seen drivers pull it off before. You have to be incredibly fast, but also you have to be a little bit lucky in regards to safety cars and virtual safety cars, as Kit and Petter invalidates at turn 4, an incredibly easy thing to do. Bean still not using ERS, not really pushing at all. He's just doing a few laps. Perhaps he's just waiting for the track to evolve, wait till the end of the session, and then he'll have a crack setting a flying lap. At the moment, not a very sort of eventful qualifying at the moment. So as Nicholas is about to start another flight. Whoa, very wide at the final corner. Oh, I have quali bands. Thank you, Matty. I didn't know that. I haven't seen the report. So obviously the events that transpired at Belgium has obviously given them quali bands. So Anth, Enrique and Aram, all of them quali bands. Okay. Still, Lopez not setting a lap time. That's... well, he did set a lap time, of course. He's in the top 10, but on a set of mediums, and he just voluntarily retired. It's very interesting to see. Good evening, Joel. Good evening, everybody. I hope you enjoy this race. Now, typically with Hungary, it's a bit of an underdog circuit, in my opinion. Sometimes you get fairly boring races, as you do, because this is Formula 1. But I have seen some of the best races of my commentating career around here. It can just do something. It's never ever consistent. It doesn't always generate good racing, but when it does, it tends to be pretty spectacular. So basically what I'm saying is be a bit optimistic for tonight's race, as Nicholas jumps up to pole position with a 13.2. So at the moment, we've got a top 2 forming at the moment. Arba is the best of the rest. He's on a flying lap as well, heading through the first sector. Round turn 5, trying not to touch that inside curb, quite deadly. And into the chicane. He's got an Alpha Tauri in front of him, heading through the second sector. 4th and 5th gear corners through here, then flat out through turn 10. This car's pulling off to the side after turn 5, trying to let cars through. Let's wing it. He pulls off to the side. And now Arba has to tackle the final sector into turn 13. Very awkward braking zone, gets through it nicely. 3rd gear, gently on the throttle, very gently, and he actually decides to pull in. So we've got 8.5 minutes left. He wasn't satisfied with his lap, so he's elected to come in, and I think Alp is going to be doing a similar thing. No, actually. He's going to try and set a flying lap here. Out to the final corner, crossing the start-finish line. Oh, interesting. He was using ERS in that third sector. I noticed for a bit there. That was interesting. I thought he was on an in-lap, but no, he was on an actual flying lap. And he does a 13.1. Retakes pole position away from COS Nicholas. Bersey currently in 5th. Warner currently in 4th. At the moment, the Renault engine car is looking pretty good. United Bosnia are currently in 6th. I believe he's just set a flying lap, just trying to let the Williams by. I'm not sure who that is. It's Lunacy. He's on a set of medium tyres, making his way around turn 2, heading into turn 3, 5th gear, 6th gear. Right on board with him. He's done a personal best of a 15.6, and he's down massively to the first sector, so he won't be improving. Gets in Petter on a flying lap. He's yet to set a lap time, currently down in 18th place. He'll be hoping to set something at the very least. Several drivers are yet to set a lap time, including Matty and Bean. But here comes Kettenpatter crossing the line and does a 14.3. Jumps to 7th place. So both McLarens inside the top 10, they're looking good, but they're all starting on the soft compound tyre, it seems. Schwarner on an out lap. What about Stonetal? Is he on the fly? No. Wingert, is he on the fly? He might be. Still stuck it in hot lap mode, so I reckon he's on a flyer. Passes Prezzo with ease through the chicane. Turn 6 and 7 into turn 8. Then into turn 9. And invalidates there. So he'll have to probably come back into the pits, get on a fresh set of tyres, perhaps even wait till the end of the session. Not a lot of time left, 6 minutes. He may not want to risk it coming out again, try and set another flying lap, then do another in-lap. That'll cost you about 4.5 minutes, so I reckon it's probably wise for him to just stay in the pits, wait till about 3 or so minutes left in the session, and then try and set another flying lap. Schwarner is on a flyer. The McLaren driver's got a current personal best of a 1 minute 13.9 exactly. Got a couple of guys discussing using PS messages. Got to turn the notifications off. Through turn 3, heading up the hill towards turn 4. This ends the first sector, and he's basically equaled his first sector. Through turn 5, hugs the inside. Oh, he hugged the inside. He touched the curb on the apex, half spun the car. As I said, you can't afford to touch that curb. Incredibly easy to spin out. Luckily, he didn't spin out completely. Got the car back under control, and he'll probably just prepare himself for another flying lap. Got a Red Bull. He's about to set a flyer as well. It's SWM Bean, and he jumps into the top 10 with a 1 minute 14.5 on the medium tyre as well. Can he hold it there? As I said, the medium to hard strategy around here is pretty good, as Santa Rica has just gotten a 5 grid place penalty, a severe collision with this man, Matty Robbo. Santa Rica currently now in 13th place. He'll drop all the way down to 18th. What on earth has happened there? Unless, of course, he can improve. He's just about to set a flying lap, crossing the start-finish line. Heading towards turn 1, hard on the brakes. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I know it happened just before turn 12. Somehow the two came together. Santa Rica is the worst off because of it. Around turn 3. See what his sector 1 time says. He's up by just over a tenth and a half. He was very sideways there through turn 4. He's really pushing it now. Probably that incident has kicked his adrenal gland into overdrive sideways through the chicane. Quite a common thing to see. The curbs there really unsettled the car. And he's invalidated through turn 9. Now he's switched it back to zero ERS. Probably prepare himself for another flying lap. Swarner actually went back into the pits. He didn't go out for another flyer. Mitch Burns is on a flyer in P12 heading around turn 1 right now. We've got Arbar on an out lap, Bersey on an out lap. Same with United Bosnia. Some of the drivers towards the top end of the field preparing themselves for their final qualifying assault. Heading through turn 3. See what Mr. Burns is up to in the first sector, and he's actually down by half a tenth. But this is where time is gained or lost through this second sector. Very technical, a lot of corners you have to try and get right. Rides the curbs quite awkwardly, and into the wall he goes. A big shunt. And that might be, actually, that will be qualifying over for Mitch. He will not be improving from P12. That's a big shunt. Lunacy improves to P13, I've just noticed there. But those curbs are incredibly brutal, and they've bared their teeth right there. See what Wingett does in the first sector, then we'll see what the guys in the top 6 are up to. He's up by 10th to the first sector. Bersey is up by 12 thousandths in the first sector. See what Arba is up to. He needs to improve by a bit under 6/10 of a second, and he invalidates a costly error. But fortunately, there's enough time left in the session for him to set another lap time. Alp is on his final flying lap. He's heading towards turn 1. Let's see how our current pole setter operates himself around this 4.3k circuit. Coming towards turn 2. Hard on the brakes just after the 50 board. 3rd gear, short shifts to 4th. 5th gear, 6th gear through turn 3. Underneath the F1 2020 banner. Heading towards turn 4. 7th gear, using all of the track on the right hand side. He is up by just over half a tenth of a second. Through turn 5, heading towards 6 and 7. Hard on the brakes. 4th gear through the first part. Keeps it in 4th. It was sideways through there. He had very little control over the car, but he kept it only just under control, and he got through relatively okay. Around turn 11, sector 2 says he's up by just under a tenth. He found a little bit of time, not a lot though. Now around the second to last corner, turn 13, then into turn 14. There's a racing point in front that shouldn't impede him. Out of the final corner, DRS open, up towards the line. It's a 13 flat. It's not quite a 12. He got very close though. But what about this man? He's up by just over a tenth of a second in the first sector, heading towards the chicane. Is he a lot more controlled? He is way more controlled compared to Alp. Coming through turn 8, then into 9. 4th gear gently on the throttle, then through 10. Into the difficult turn 11. Oh, dearie me, that was a moment and a half. He was pushing right towards the edge, and that has cost him a chance at pole. 10 out of 10 for effort, though. Gave it everything, but unfortunately it wasn't quite enough. So at the moment, it looks like SWM Alp will be getting pole position. Being he's not going to set a lap time on those soft tyres. He'll probably just come into the pits and retire from the session. But there we go, qualifying over, and it's SWM Alp on pole. I thought he might crack into the 12s. He got awfully close. Unfortunately, he didn't quite crack into those times, but my word, a very fine lap indeed. I'm surprised when he went through the chicane. I thought he would lose all sorts of control, probably end up into a barrier, but no. Kept the car straight, kept it going, and he even found more time in that second sector. Unbelievable. It's always fascinating watching drivers like that who can drive the car completely on the limit and somehow keep the car straight. It's always fascinating to watch. But there we go. Quali over. Just be waiting on Al and his crew to finish. There we go. So the order, it is Alp on pole, Nicholas in second, Arbar in third, Swarner in fourth, Burzy in fifth, Kittenpetter in sixth, United Bosnia in seventh, the Stone Towel in eighth, Wingit in ninth, and P-Dog Payton rounds out the top 10, and all of them will be starting on the soft compound tyre. Bean in 11th, Mitch Burns in 12th, Lunacy in 13th. Santa Rica qualified in 14th, but he's got a 5 grid place penalty. He'll be starting from 19th on the grid. Matty Robbo in 15th place. Lopez in 16th, our race winner from Belgium. And then we got the drivers who did not set a lap time. Fenrique, Bodhod, Aran, and Anth. They make up position 17 to 20 in qualifying. But all of the drivers, Aram, Bodhod and Fenrique, they will all move up a position. Due to Santa Rica, he will drop down to here in 19th place, which is quite unfortunate, really. I'm sure it wasn't a major incident between those two, but knowing what the game is like, it's quite brutal when it comes to sort of even little knocks during qualifying. And he's got a 5 grid place penalty because of that. Now it's time for the race itself. It'll be interesting to see what the drivers outside the top 10 decide to do, though I have a pretty good idea what they will do. They'll probably all start on the medium tyre. Those towards the back might gamble on a set of hards, perhaps, though you have to be incredibly careful at the start. If you get damage early on, it's basically a death sentence, really. You have to come in, get the wing change, and then you have to put on a set of mediums. And according to the game, the mediums can last about 23 laps. Yeah, that definitely won't get you to the end of the race. And the soft tyres are shocking around here. According to the game, they can only last about 10 laps. But I know that the soft tyre cook themselves incredibly quickly. Like after maybe 2 or 3 laps, they become burnt out and basically unusable. And the medium tyre runners start to come into play. So it'll be interesting to see what those drivers can do at the lower half of the field. As we know, the top 10 will be starting on the softs, and there we go. None of the drivers outside the 10 are starting on the soft tyre. That's quite an obvious thing here at Hungary. Bean in 11th place starting on the medium, same with Mitch Burns, same with Lunacy in 13th, and Matty Robbo, same with Lopez. The first of the drivers who aren't starting on the medium tyre is Fenrique. In 16th place, he is gambling, starting on the hard tyre. As I said, he needs to keep his nose clean. He can't get into trouble early on. Bodhod in 17th on the mediums, Aram in 18th on the hards. Santa Rica, after his penalty, is starting all the way down in 19th. He's on the hard tyre as well, and Anth at the back of the grid, also on the hard tyre. It's kind of an obvious thing to expect. A lot of the guys towards the back of the field, nothing to lose. They might as well try something different and see if it pays off. And we also have a Bodhod, probably a safe option to start on the medium tyre. Just gives you that added flexibility if there's something going wrong at the beginning. But I believe it's going to be a nice dry race. No clouds. Well, no major clouds to see on the screen, so nothing to worry about in terms of wet weather. It'll be very interesting for the first couple of laps, see what happens. In Spa, it was incredibly dramatic. There was so much action going on. It was very difficult to keep track of everything. Hopefully it'll be a bit more tame here at Hungary. Hopefully get a nice race between these guys. No, I don't like seeing massive crashes. See drivers lose the opportunity to potentially score points. It's not a fun sight to see. But everyone's lined up. Everyone should be ready to race. Here we go. Just waiting on the game to save. When do the lights come on? There they are. Here we go at the Hungaroring. We have 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go. Alp gets a pretty decent... No, he actually gets a shocking start. Nicholas will go down the inside and take the lead away from Alp into turn 1, and Alp might lose a few more positions if he's unlucky. He's got Arba right beside him, but he hangs on to second for now. But Nicholas, a fantastic conversion off the line as the two McLarens are battling side by side through turn 2. Fortunately, they don't collide like the Red Bulls did back in 2017. Heading up the hill towards turn 4. Nicholas still leads. Alp in second, Arba in third. I saw an end plate there. Someone's got wing damage. There is a Ferrari around. It's a Ram. Oh, and there's an AlphaTauri around. That is Peyton. He has spun out at turn 5. So 2 drivers getting involved in incidents. Now, who's got the wing damage? It's Robbo, I think. Oh, that ant in the Ferrari had a big moment there. As you can see there, there's an end plate missing on the right-hand side of the front wing on that Williams. He'll be very, very slow. He'll need to come into the pits as well. Santa Rica trying to get by. Robbo, a bit of a sitting duck with that damage, unfortunately. Towards the top of the field, it's still Nicholas leading the way. Oh, and there's Kitten Petter just diving off to the side there. Is he going to let his teammate pass, or is he going to put up a fight? No, he lets his teammate pass. Swarner is now into P4. Now Kitten Petter has to worry about Bursey behind. Bean and Wingett exchange places. Bean now in 8th on the set of medium tyres. Now those tyres are going to switch on fairly quickly. Those soft runners, they're going to be feeling the burn of their tyres very, very shortly. But throughout the majority of the lap though, Bean will struggle to pass anyone until he hits the pit straight and going through turn 1. 3 drivers went into the pits. Bodhod was one of them as well, including Matty Robbo and a Ram who had incidents on lap 1. But now for Bodhod and Matty, they're now on the hard tyre. A Ram on the mediums, kind of forced onto the mediums as he started on that hard compound. But not too much action. Everyone's sort of following line astern, not really attacking each other, pacing themselves out for the long race ahead. Nicholas still leading the way. DRS is now enabled. Alp sets the fastest lap with an 18 flat. Heading towards turn 1. We definitely got a top 3. Schwarner has sort of lost time as Bosnia overtakes Bursey for 6th place. Lopez overtakes Wingett for 9th. And Lunacy overtakes Mitch Burns for 12th place into turn 3. Oh, contact between Bean and Bursey there at turn 2. Nothing incredibly malicious, but contact nonetheless. Heading up the hill towards turn 4. Oh, and in the wall! Oh, that certainly looked like Bursey lost control of the car there. I only saw that out of the corner of my eye, but my word, it looked like he lost control of the car. Definitely a heart-and-mouth moment for me right there. Nicholas still holding Alp at bay. At the moment, the Mercedes driver hasn't had any sort of answer to the Red Bull's pace, heading through the second to last corner, around the final corner now. But now Alp will have DRS. Can he use that to attack the Red Bull? Gap is 7/10. It's increased quite a bit in that final corner. Heading towards turn 1, he is nowhere near close enough. Nicholas is doing a superb job right now. Bean into 6th place. And Stone Towel overtakes Wingett. He's now into the top 10. There's he right on the back of Bosnia. Big send! Oh, that was quite unnecessary. That was a massive send there. And he comes off worse off as he loses a place to Lopez as well. I wonder if he just missed his braking point, because that was massive. A massive miscalculation there into turn 2. Fortunately, that didn't result in an incident. Lopez applying pressure now to Bosnia. All over the back of him through this second sector, but he can't really do anything. Heading towards turn number 12. This can be a potential overtaking opportunity, though I wouldn't recommend going for it, as Peyton gets a 3-second time penalty. The reason is because the DRS detection zone is so close to that turn that the car that you just overtook will get DRS here on the pit straight. Lopez using DRS, using overtake. It should be a fairly straightforward overtake. And he's now into 7th place. Now will Burzy go for the big send like he did last lap? I don't think he's close enough to do that this time. A bit of action going on behind as well. Oh, the Haas and the AlphaTauri coming very close together. It's Mitch Burns and Wingett. Schwarner gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Only 5 laps into a 35-lap race. That's not a good sign. Around turn 5. At the moment, Wingett on those worn softs will be a bit of a sitting duck compared to the medium and hard runners behind. And at the moment, he's now lost DRS to Lunacy as well. So he's going to be quite vulnerable to not only Mitch, but also Fenrique in 14th place. He defends into turn 12. That'll cost him here. Burns gets a better exit. He has to look around the long way. He keeps it there. Now they're side by side at the detection zone. And Wingett will get DRS. Into the pits goes Bosnia and SWM Alp. Something has happened to... Oh, I missed that. What happened to Mitch? I missed that completely. Mitch is going into the pits. What happened there? He must have had a moment at 13, spun out. Has he got damage, I wonder? We'll see. We'll pull into the pit lane. Yeah, he's got front wing damage. Onto the soft tyre. He's going to have a go at the 2-stop. It's quite unfortunate there. Him and Wingett very close together. They must have made contact or something. As a result, Mitch is all the way down in last place now. Now, out-pitted, he's on hard tyres. And actually, he's in the window that those hard tyres can make it to the end. The hard tyre can do about 30 laps, according to the game. So, theoretically, he should be able to make it to the end. Nicholas is in the pits. Same with Arbar. Schwarner stays out. It's probably smart that the top two do that. They don't want Alp to get an undercut on them. And here comes Bean on the attack. Slingshots past Schwarner before the braking zone into turn 1. An easy exchange of position there. Lopez is right in behind. He'll be attacking Schwarner here, heading through turn 2. Then through turn 3, gap is 0.4 of a second. And this is where those medium tyres will shine in the second sector. Got a bit going on here. Close battle being fought. Wingett trying to hang on to the hard runners. He's running long on this soft stint. I wonder what his game plan is. Is he planning to pit onto a set of medium tyres perhaps? He has to carry those softs a long way in order to do that. Lopez now properly on the back of Schwarner. Though I think Schwarner will be going into the pits. I don't think he should go too much longer on these tyres. See what he's up to. Yeah, he's definitely going into the pits. So Lopez will take second place. Now Burzy, does he go in? Yes, he does. So that means Lunacy will jump up to third. Fares ways behind the top two. Fenrique now in fourth place. Fortunately for him, he's kept his nose clean on that hard tyre. And he's showing good pace. He's catching Lunacy right now. Gap of 1.2 seconds. But he needs to remember he can't get caught up in too many battles. Cannot afford to get damaged. Two McLarens are quite close to each other. Schwarner and Kettenpetter. Schwarner overtakes his teammate for 10th. United Bosnia is all over the back of Kitten. He's on a set of medium tyres. Perhaps Bosnia is doing a two-stop strategy. Up the hill towards turn 4. Three drivers all following each other, line astern. And then through the technical second sector. Now Bosnia will be miles quicker than the two McLarens in front, but he can't really do anything. He just has to more or less follow the two McLarens all the way throughout here. Although Bosnia, he's not close enough to attack into 12. Not quite close enough. Alp is on the assault. Nicholas came out just in front of the Mercedes as well. Though Alp is applying pressure right here. And now we've got a couple of cars to introduce to the battle. Santa Rica and Ant. As Fenrique gets past Lunacy for 3rd. Those two cars in front may play a major part in the battle for the win, because currently it's these two leading the way. The medium runners will have to see how they filter themselves out in this race. Oh, as Santa Rica makes a mistake at turn 5 into the chicane. Now Nicholas will be held up here. Oh, as Santa Rica comes to the chicane and actually lets Nicholas and Alp by. Now they have to worry about Ant in 5th. Through turn 10 into 11. As Bodhod has retired from the session, he's crashed at turn 3. And a virtual safety car has been deployed. Now, Lopez is in the pits. Fenrique, what does he do? He's on the hard tyre. He stays out. Lunacy, I'm sure he'll be going into the pits. He is. He'll change onto a hard tyre and go to the end of the race. So this is going to help out a couple of drivers. Literally a couple, as Mitch Burns gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under virtual safety car. So where will these two come out? Lopez in 8th. What about Lunacy? He'll be dicing it up with the Stone Towel and Bersey, it seems. Down in 12th. But he's good to go to the end of the race. Both him and Lopez, as Nicholas gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As he gets by Anth for 3rd place. Now Alp has to try and do the same. Through turn 8 into turn 9. Dirty air will be hurting Alp through here. Then turn 11, 5th gear, 6th gear. Looking left. Not close enough to attack just yet. Heading into turn 13. Down to 2nd gear, short shift to 3rd. Now he just needs to try get a good exit out of here, which he does. Set in the slipstream, use overtake, use DRS, and slingshot past the Ferrari with relative ease. Meanwhile, in the background, Arba overtaking Santa Rica. Lopez is all over the back of the Renault right now. He's in a really good position. Thanks to that virtual safety car, Wingett gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. So Lopez on fresher tyres. He'll be on the attack. This is for 3rd place. Once the hard and medium runners come in for their stops through the chicane. Oh, a bit sideways on the exit though. He keeps it tidy. Through turn 9 into turn 10. Then turn 11. Using a bit of the grass on the inside and cops a penalty. 3 seconds for multiple warnings. A number of drivers struggling at the moment to keep it within the track limits. Now around the final corner. Now, does Arbar have DRS? No, he doesn't. He might be vulnerable here. Lopez using DRS, not using overtake though. He's not quite close enough to attack into turn 1. Can he get a good exit? He does. But I don't think he's close enough to attack into turn 2. But Lopez will be thanking his lucky stars because of that virtual safety car. He's in a fantastic position. Alp is still applying pressure though. He is all over the back of Nicholas through the chicane. Heading through the high speed S's in the middle sector. What can Alp do? At the moment Nicholas has got the measure of the Mercedes. Using a bit of overtake there, Alp. Interesting. Out of turn 11. Bit of a nothing area to use ERS, but he decided to use a little bit there. Around the final corner, half a second separate third and fourth. Uses DRS. He closes in on the Red Bull ever so slightly. Both drivers relatively low on ERS as well. So they don't have a lot in terms of resources to defend or attack for that matter. Arbar around the outside. Oh, and they make contact, I believe. Then Anth spins round. Anth and Arbar make contact at the apex of turn 2. Anth drops all the way down to 8th place. That's quite unfortunate for the Ferrari driver there. I'm sure he won't be too impressed about it. And that's also cost Lopez a fair amount of time. He took avoiding action to not collide with the Ferrari there. He's now 1.6 seconds behind the Renault. Alp genuinely on the attack. Red Bull and Mercedes claiming the top 4 places. The two teams showing their dominance. As Alp makes a mistake on the exit of the final corner that may have cost him a run at Nicholas. I think it has. Shows his nose. He's saying, Nicholas, buddy, I'm right here. Ready to attack. Uses a bit of overtake at the exit of 1. Shows his nose again. We might have a spiffing battle on our hands between these two in a few moments' time. And wow, Lopez. Through turn 4. Gap is 0.4 of a second. Now into the chicane. So it just shows Lopez has got some serious pace right now, even with him taking avoiding action. He managed to gather that all up and is now within DRS range of Arbar once again. There's Santa Rica in the background, same with Anth, yet to make a pit stop. Alp is definitely applying pressure here around the final corner. Again, not close enough to attack, though he's using overtake. He's dumping it. He might want to have a go here. Heading into 1. Oh, he definitely thought about it. And I reckon Nicholas was using ERS to counter that as well. A Ram gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Round turn 4. Down the hill. Then back up the hill towards turn number 4. Gap is 0.4 of a second. That was a moment and a half there. How did he catch that? What superb driving there. Into the chicane. Flow it through quite nicely, using all of the track limits on the right hand side. At the moment, these two are level pegging each other. All it will take is one mistake from either of these two. Might cost them the chance of victory. Round the final corner, 6/10. Nicholas has built a small margin over Alpine here. And again, the Mercedes not close enough to attack just yet. Lopez, he's not close enough to attack the Renault. Very deep under brakes, so into one. Misses the apex. That'll cost him on the exit. 4.5 tenths, 4 tenths, 3.5 tenths, 3 tenths, 2.5. Not close enough to attack. Looking down the order. Everyone fairly spread out. Got this group of 3 cars with the Stone Towel, Bursey and Payton fairly close together. They're battling for 13th at the moment. Robbo on the attack here, down the inside into 2. Gets the job done. A fairly... Oh, hang on. No, he hasn't. Wing it counter-attacks at turn 3. I thought Robbo was able to get that done, but no, Wing it. He's not giving up that easily. Round turn number 5. Into the chicane. Gap is half a second between the two. Still have this battle going on. Schwarner is on the back of Anth, one of the hard runners from the start. Still yet to pit. There's something happened to the Stone Towel. He has spun round, gets it going. A couple of cars are coming, and he ungoes quite at an unopportunistic time. Or he's not going to pit. He's going to try and keep going. Those tyres will be shot to pieces, so he has to be incredibly careful. Help still on the back of Nicholas. He has no answer to the Canadian right now, though he has been a lot closer now than he has been on previous laps. Around turn 11. Gap is 4 tenths. He really needs to nail this final sector. Nicholas has done a superb job keeping the Mercedes at bay. Round the final corner. On the throttle. It's not good enough. That snap of oversteer costs him too much time. Though he's going to have a crack, I reckon. Nicholas is forced to defend into 1. Here we go. They're side by side. He tries to get a switch back. Nicholas covers. We'll cover the inside line into turn 2. Round the line. They make contact! And Alp spins, half spins, but he corrects it and he keeps going. An unfortunate mistake there. Very close to each other. They make a little bit of contact. But the battle still rages on. Alp is still within a second of Nicholas right now. This battle between Arba and Lopez is still going. Gap is 8 tenths. Now down to half a second, and here we go. Can he attack? I don't think he's close enough. Bean is into the pits. Our race leader is in. He's going onto the hard tyre. Fenrique follows him. So he'll be planning to do a long stint on those medium tyres like what Bean did. Onto the mediums he goes. He's going to be quite quick. Can he find a bit of clear air? No, look at that train of cars coming around the final corner. He'll get caught up in all this. It's a train being led now by Schwarner. And Fenrique is right at the back of the train. He's got a lot of work to do to try and pass all these guys. Round turn 2. All the drivers following each other line astern. Meanwhile, Alp has lost a tremendous amount of time and an end plate. And an end plate. He has made some sort of catastrophic error. Now what does he do? Does he pit to replace that wing, or does he keep going? But does he send it? No, he doesn't go for the move. What does Alp do? What does he do? Rounds the second to last corner. And into the pits? No, he elects to stay out. And Arba, he will overtake Alp here. And that is for second place. And there's absolutely nothing Alp can do. He's trying to defend from Lopez, who goes around the outside at turn 1. Can't quite get it done here, but he might get it done into 2. A lot deeper on the brakes. They give each other the space. Alp, he'd be that much slower in the corners. He can't do anything. Now into turn 4. Alp loses more time running wide. He'll lose even more time here. Can Bean find a way past? No, he can't. Bean is stuck behind the Mercedes. What a costly error for the Mercedes driver. And here he comes. Bean gets a run, and surely Alp won't fight there, so he's going to try. Runs wide. There's a lap car of Mitch Burns on the back of this, just watching the show unfold. Alp's going to keep fighting this. He's going to pray for a safety car. He needs to pray for a safety car. Meanwhile, his teammate Fenrique is on a charge. He's Mercedes' last hope now. Next car is Ant on 20 lap old hard tyres. Heading towards turn 2. Be significantly quicker than the Ferrari here. But needs to be patient. Can't really force a move here. P-Dog Payton in the pits. Onto a set of fresh mediums. He's down in 18th place. Heading towards the chicane. He's definitely thinking about a move, but he's not close enough. Oh, he's got to run. Oh, he can't get it done though. Through 10, into 11. He might go for a move here. He will. Down the inside into 12, can't get it done. But here at 13, he just might. With that better traction, he can hold it around the outside, get a better exit, and he's now into 7th place. But now, does he have DRS? No. No, he doesn't. He might be a bit vulnerable, though Fenrique uses overtake to pull away from the Ferrari, cementing himself in 7th place. Bean all over the back of Lopez now, heading through the first sector. Now beginning the second sector. Be stuck in the dirty air of the Alfa Romeo. He won't be able to find a way past. Oh, unless he makes a mistake like that. Lopez, a costly error. Now the Red Bull is all over the back of him, heading through the second sector. 4th gear. 5th gear. Lopez, a 3-second time penalty, running wide at 9. Now heading into turn 12. Then turn number 13. Lopez locking up. He's looking vulnerable. What a race we have here. Bean on the attack. Down the inside with relative ease. His next target would be Arba. Fenrique setting fastest laps. Gap is 1 second between P2 and P3. And the gap isn't much greater between P1 and 2. So if Bean finds a way past, what is the battle between the Red Bulls going to look like? Bean is on significantly fresher tyres as Enrique finds a way past Swarner. His next target will be his teammate. Bean closing in on R-Bar here. Gap is 0.6. Heading around turn 12. 6.5 tenths. Can he get a good enough exit out of the final corner perhaps? The sooner the better. Gap is half a second. Can he go for it? No, I don't think he can. Opens DRS. He'll just sit in behind. Sector 2 yellow flags. It's a Ferrari. It's a Ram. Just making a small mistake. At turn 5. Quite an easy thing to do. Opens DRS. Again, closes in on the Renault. Oh, how is this going to pan out between these guys? Kizenpeta attacking Anth. Anth on 23 lap old hards. He's pushing to go onto a soft set, I reckon. The only reason why you would continue for this amount of time. Bersey and Santa Rica having a battle. Santa Rica gets passed into P11. He has to gain another 7 seconds to try and overtake Lunacy to finish in the points. Bean is now properly on the back of R-Bar now. And R-Bar is going to be quite vulnerable here. Older tyres, no DRS. And Bean has a little bit of ERS in his back pocket. Opens it, uses overtake, and it should be a straightforward overtake indeed. Overtakes the Renault, and he goes into second place. Oh word, a lot of people messaging on PSN. You have a Discord to message in, don't you? Deary me. Now up the hill towards turn number 4. Gap is 2 seconds between the Red Bulls. Now Nicholas also has a penalty next to his name. 3 seconds worth. So it might be that Bean will come out on top regardless. Nicholas might have to relinquish the lead here. Enrique overtaken his teammate Alp. He'll have to hunt down another 6 seconds, try and catch up to Lopez. Everyone fairly spread out now. No real battles taking place. And Schwarner's now on the back of Alp. That damaged Mercedes be really hurting Alp. He'd be using every inch of his talent to try and keep the cars behind at bay, but it's almost impossible to do so. And here comes Schwarner. He has to look around the long way, Alp defending the inside line. Around the long way at turn 1, should get a better exit, does get a better exit. And I believe he will take 6th place away from Alp, who runs wide at turn 2 because of the lack of front downforce. So Alps has to worry about the other McLaren of Kizenpeta catching up. The gap is 3.4 seconds between him and 8th place. Bean closing in on his teammate. Gap is now 1.1 seconds. The medium to hard strategy appears to be the one to go for in this race. He's got DRS on his teammate now. It's not looking good for Nicholas. And R-Bar doesn't have any penalties next to his name either. He'll be aiming for that second place with Nicholas and that 3-second time penalty of his. Lopez currently in 4th. Fenrique is gaining. Gap is now 4.2 seconds between P4 and 5. Schwarner 5 seconds behind. Alp 1.7 seconds behind Schwarner. Kittenpetter is gaining. Gap is now 2.8 seconds between P7 and 8. Lopez gets another 3-second time penalty next to his name. But now being properly on the back of his teammate now. I wouldn't assume there'd be too much of a fight between these two. I'd assume. Coming around the second to last corner. Matty Robbo, a 3-second time penalty. Round he comes. Uses DRS. Will he use overtake? He will. Ever so briefly. But being not close enough to attack his teammate just yet. Into turn 2, he's still not close enough to attack his teammate. So Nicholas is holding on for now. But I imagine he won't hold on for long. Fenrique is gaining a fair amount of time now. 3 seconds between him and Lopez. Those penalties that Lopez has, it will cost him a position anyway, but Fenrique, he would like to take that position on track. And if he can continue his charge, he might be able to get himself onto the podium. Who knows? He's got good pace at the moment. Currently 5th. Started from 16th. Lopez from 15th. Both of them making up 11 positions respectively. Bean is the one who's made up 9 positions. From P11 to P2. Just showing the power of fresh tyres around here, I suppose. Compared to those scrub soft tyres from qualifying. As Bean finally overtakes his teammate to take over the lead of this Hungarian Grand Prix. Not much Nicholas can do other than sit with Bean and pray they can build a big enough gap so then it maintains the 1-2 finish for Red Bull. They need to pull a 3-second margin over Arbar in 3rd place. Fenrique now 2 seconds behind Lopez, gaining about a second a lap, as Alp is now under a bit of pressure from Kittenpetter. A second separate those two in P7 and 8. Through the chicane, as Peyton has retired from the session in the pit lane. 7 laps to go. It's quite unfortunate really, but understandable. Not much to fight for down in 17th place. But now Nicholas is out of DRS range of his teammates, so steadily losing time here is Nicholas. But fortunately for the Red Bull driver, he is pulling away ever so slightly from Arbar in 3rd. Now it's 1.4 seconds separating Fenrique from Lopez. Down the hill towards turn 2. Chucks it in there. 1.3 seconds, 1.5. Kittenpetter on the attack. They make contact at the exit of 1, heading down the hill towards turn 2. Goes and looks down the inside, can't get it done though. Through turn 3. Petter's got to run. He has to look around the long way though. Alp a 3-second time penalty through turn 5. Alp using the full width of the racetrack. Keep the McLaren at bay. Now Santarica is on the attack here for 9th. Both of them have 3-second time penalties, so they're battling genuinely for position. Less than a second behind the Williams. He won't be close enough to attack though, coming onto the pit straight. Oh, hang on, he just might be. 4/10, 4.5. He might actually go for this. Uses overtake and DRS. He is going to go for this. He gets it quite easily, well before the braking zone into turn 1. He's now into 9th. Lopez, another penalty next to his name. He's now got Fenrique properly behind him in his mirrors. Through the high-speed S's, this is where the medium tyres will feel that much more superior over the hard tyres through this high-speed technical sector. Then into the third sector, gap is 0.6 of a second, heading around turn number 13. Then into turn number 14, gap is 0.6. Will he go for it? Will he use his overtake? I think he... Oh no, he just used it on the exit to close the gap. He's going to use it now though. He has seen an opportunity. He's going to go for it. Down the inside into 1. And he gets the position. He's now into 4th. Now he has to make up 1.8 seconds and about 4 laps if he wants to take a podium place. Can he do it? Arba is now 2.7 seconds behind Nicholas now. It might just be a Red Bull 1-2. It will be fantastic for them in the Constructors' Championship. Though Arba is not giving up. He is still within 3 seconds of Nicholas. Fenrique is gaining though. 1.4 seconds now between 3rd and 4th. He's running low on ERS. That's something he has to worry about. He needs to prepare himself for this, because I'm sure Arba is going to put up one hell of a fight. He's not going to give up 3rd place easily. Gap hovering around 1.3. Into turn 1 we go. Gap still about 1.3 seconds. He hasn't closed in tremendously. And Lopez using DRS, keeping up with Fenrique, keeping him in the mix. But more importantly, pulling away from Schwarner. He's got a number of penalties, I believe 9 seconds, 12 seconds. In fact, he needs a 9-second margin over Schwarner if he wants to keep 5th place, which he'll enjoy very much after his win at Spa last week. Fenrique now within a second of 3rd place. You can see the podium places right in front of him now. Bosnia, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Around turn number 13, and now Fenrique will have DRS. And he'll use it to full effect with 2 laps to go. He'll close in on the Renault. Down the pitch straight, heading towards turn 1. Hard on the brakes. 2nd gear. Short shifts to 3rd to minimize the wheel spin on the exit. Uses DRS again to close in on the Renault. Round turn 2. Into turn number 3. Then through 4. 4/10 separating them. Now into the treacherous chicane. No warnings, no penalties coming up for either driver. They're really pushing the limits of the racetrack. Gap is 2.6 seconds between 3rd and 2nd place as well. So this might just be a battle for second, but if they continue battling like this, that gap is only going to increase. But here we go. Bean is about to begin the final lap. These guys are about to begin their final lap. And they're going to give it absolutely everything. Arba weaving on the straight to try and break the toe. Does Fenrique send it? No. He'll prepare himself here though. He needs a good exit. Both drivers get a pretty good exit, in fairness. Heading towards turn 2. Fenrique applying pressure. Now he's got very few opportunities after this point. One potential spot is the chicane. He might be able to send it there. He is definitely very close right now. Heading towards turn 5, through turn 5. Now towards the chicane. Arba makes a bit of a mistake. Fortunately though, he doesn't lose a position. Fenrique is all over the back of the Renault right now. 2.8 seconds separate P2 and 3. Heading around turn 10 into turn 11 for the final time. Gap is 2/10. Does he go for it here? Is it a big send from the Mercedes? No, it's not. He stays in behind for now. Now into 13. Does he go for it? No. Arba defends. And Bean will round the final corner and will win the Hungarian Grand Prix. But who finishes in second and who finishes in third? It's going to be a drag race up to the line. It is COS Nicholas who will finish in second. Arba brilliantly hangs on to third place, only just though. Incredibly close between P2 down to P4. And also Lopez appears to have hung on to 5th place as well with those 12 seconds worth of penalties. Only just managed to hang on though. Less than half a second separating him and P6. Kitten Petter finishes in 7th. A fairly solid day for McLaren. Alp, what could have been, finishing in P8 with that front wing damage. Credit to him though, to soldier on like that and still finish in the points. Santorica, starting from 19th after a grid place penalty, finishes in the points. And Lunacy is our last points finisher in 10th. There we go. Seemed that the one-stop strategy was superior today. Bean taking an emphatic win here at the Hungaroring, and it's even better because it's a 1-2 finish for Red Bull Racing. And we'll just be waiting on Robbo to cross the line. There we go. And that will conclude the race. We'll have the podium celebrations. Fenrique given driver of the day, serving a quali ban. He ended up finishing in 4th. That's a pretty fine performance. There we go. Red Bull standing 1-2 on the podium. And Arba, a fantastic defensive display on the final lap. Hung on to dear life to claim 3rd place. There we go. Not a bad race in the end there. Definitely had its moments throughout. No safety cars. Still, not a bad race to watch. But the unofficial results are SWMB will win by 6.7 seconds over his teammate, COS Nicholas. Arba completes the podium in 3rd place. Fenrique, given driver of the day, starting from 16th, finishing 4th. Brazilian making up 12 places. Lopez starting from 15th, finishing 5th. That's not a bad display either, gaining 10 positions. Swarner in 6th. Kitten Petter in 7th, Alp in 8th, Santorica in 9th, Lunacy in 10th, Bersey 11th, Anth in 12th, United Bosnia in 13th, Stone Towel in 14th, Wingett in 15th, Matty Robbo in 16th, Mitch Burns in 17th, Aram in 18th, and our 2 non-finishers, P-Dog Payton and Bodhod, after crashing out at turn number 3. Oh, and United Bosnia claimed fastest lap as well, 1 minute 16.284. So none of the top 10 will be scoring that elusive fastest lap point. Not bad. Not bad at all. I've definitely seen worse around here. I've seen worse in general, but not bad. I've definitely seen better though. I think if we had a safety car or two, that would have definitely shook things up. But shook things up. Shock isn't a word. Shook things up. But we didn't have that. It's just a straight up race between everybody. It's nice to watch as well. But I think that might conclude this stream. Next week, I'm gonna have to grab the calendar out because I don't remember off the top of my head. Let's see if I can find it. My files. Let's have a look here. Images, screenshots. There it is. Next round. Oh dear. Next round is Monaco. All right. So we go from Hungaroring to Circuit to Monaco. That is one massive change in racetrack. Well, we all know what Monaco is like. I'm pretty sure everyone here knows what Monaco is like. It is arguably the most demanding racetrack on the calendar. It is incredibly narrow, very flowing. It requires a driver to push to the very limits all the time. And there are some drivers who like the challenge, and there's some drivers who hate the racetrack, hate its guts, because of how infuriatingly difficult it is. You make even the slightest error, you're getting wing damage, you're making a pit stop, you're getting the wing change, and you're down in plumb last. That's how it works at Monaco, and it's even better when it starts raining. It becomes an absolute wreckfest, that's for sure. But I believe that will end it for tonight's stream. An interesting race around Hungary, some interesting strategies took place. And SMM Bean taking his first win of the season as well, and a 1-2 finish for Red Bull Racing. But until next week, I've been the Smeg. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time for the Monaco Grand Prix at Circuit de Monaco. Until then, goodbye.